This cheerful salt dough snowman is fun to make, and it makes a great decoration for the whole winter season. So let me show you how. For this project, you will need a cup of flour, half a cup of salt, half a cup of water, a bowl and a spoon, a baking sheet, aluminum foil, 2 small sticks, a paintbrush, scrap of felt, acrylic paint in black, white, and orange, and Mod Podge. To make the salt dough, we'll mix together 1 cup of flour, half a cup of salt, and mix those together. And then add about a half a cup of water. You might need more or less depending on the humidity and other factors. So start with just a little less than a half a cup and see how your dough feels. It should be very soft, but not sticky. If you get it too wet, you can always add a little bit of flour. So I can tell that this is going to be a little stiff, so I'm going to add the rest of my half a cup of water. Stir it until it becomes a dough. When it gets to be too hard to stir, then take it out and knead it to get everything mixed together and to make it all smooth. Take it out of the bowl and knead it on my table just to make sure everything is evenly mixed together. And like I said, it should be soft but not sticky. You don't want it to be too dry. Okay, that feels good. To start the snowman, we'll make 2 balls of aluminum foil. You don't want to make the snowman completely out of dough or it won't dry properly. So we're just going to do a few balls to make the forms in the middle. You make one slightly bigger than the other. Flatten out a piece of dough to cover that bottom snowball, and we're going to make it about 1/4 of an inch thick all the way around. You don't want it to be too thick so that it can dry properly, but not so thin that any of the foil is poking out. As you smooth out all of the lumps and bumps, don't be too worried about it. It doesn't need to look perfect, but if you have some big cracks like this one, you can get a little bit of water on your finger to smooth it out if you would like to do that. These not looking perfect is part of their charm, so don't worry too much. There's the bottom one. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the top snowball. Okay, once you have the head made, put a little bit of water here to help your dough stick together, or if you would like to, you can use a toothpick for support just to make sure that that head is securely on there. All right, now I can add some sticks for arms to my snowman because these can withstand the heat of the oven. You don't want to put anything into your dough snowman that can't go into an oven at 250 degrees for a couple hours, but these sticks should be fine. Stick those in. I'm going to try and get it a little bit into the foil as well. Now we're going to add some details. So I'm going to form a carrot nose. I'm going to put a little bit of water on the end of that to make sure it sticks. Now you can add whatever details you would like to your snowman with the dough. I'm going to give mine a felt scarf at the end, so that we'll do that later, and then I'll paint on eyes and a mouth and buttons. But I do want him to have something on his head, so I'm going to make him a little hat out of dough. And I think I'll make it small. Let's see how that looks. A little bit of water to make it stick. Kind of looks like a beret at the moment. A little top to that hat. Okay, It's not perfect, but I think it looks good that way. It adds a little bit of character. Now we're going to put the snowman on an oven-safe dish, and we're going to bake him for probably 2 to 3 hours at 250 degrees. These guys need a low temperature, long drying time. They would dry even if you left them out in a sunny spot or a warm spot, but that takes several days, so I prefer to use the oven method. Once the snowman has finished baking and cooling and is completely dried out, he's ready to paint. I'm going to paint the body completely white and then add a few details after that. Now that I've got the base white on, I'm going to paint the hat black and add the eyes and nose and buttons. The easiest way to make the eyes and the mouth is to use the end of a narrow paintbrush, dip it in the black paint, and then just dot it in place. Makes a much better circle than you could do on your own. Do the same thing to make the mouth. Do we want to leave it like that? Kind of cute. We'll give him a little smile. All right, and then just a few buttons down the front. And last, I'm going to paint the nose orange. Once all of the paint is completely dry, it's time to give your snowman a coat of Mod Podge. This step is really important because salt dough will absorb moisture, and then your snowman won't last. Don't worry if it's looking opaque or like it's white in spots. It will dry completely clear. Once you've got the snowman completely covered, let it dry, and also do the bottom so that that is sealed as well. While the Mod Podge is drying, I'm going to make a scarf for the snowman. So I'm just going to cut a skinny piece of felt. I like this sparkly felt because it looks like he's out in the ice and snow. And then at each end, I'm just going to cut some tiny little fringe. Do the same thing for the other side. Okay, the snowman's dry. I'm ready for his scarf. We're just going to wrap it around. And you're finished. Please subscribe to my channel for more craft ideas. There's new videos every week, so you don't want to miss an episode.